We're back on CHGO Blackhawks from a pretty chill NHL weekend. Not a lot going on. Oh my God. We'll talk about it next on CHGO Blackhawks. Happy Monday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast on this beautiful day in Chicago. Where was this 2 days ago? Perfect. When trees were falling and lakes were flooding and I had no power and it was just awful. It's been a crazy weekend. We're glad you're with us. We're glad you're safe. We're glad most of you have all your fingers still on your hands.
Hopefully.
Do us a favor. If you still can, hit the like button. Do that. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. If you're listening on the podcast, same deal there. We love your follows and subscribes. All right. There's a lot to catch you up on if you've been taking the holiday weekend off. When we got off the air Thursday, literally as we got off the air on Thursday, video started coming out from and stories started coming out from Vancouver. Ryan McGregor, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago, has been covering Connor Bedard at his practices in Vancouver. And we saw a video of Connor getting injured, leaving the ice, holding his shoulder, his left shoulder this time, not his right. And we have yet to receive any sort of update on that.
Well, it was the weekend of 4th of July, and I know that doesn't matter in Canada, but as far as
Canada Day,
as far as, getting information and all that, I think we're going to find out eventually the extent of what it is that's going on. Again, hopefully it's nothing. But
didn't look like nothing.
As I watched the ring video and I watched what from Blackhawks Focus posted that Ryan had the video of the other angle of it. Basically, he reacted in a very similar way to how he injured his shoulder when it was Braden Shen two-handing him. Was it Shen?
Yeah. I think so. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. Against the Blues, at the end of the game, which is skating directly off the ice, clutching the shoulder. I'm sure some 4-letter words. So it doesn't give you any good vibes about it. But again, hopefully it's not super serious. And I guess the silver lining of if he does have a bad injury, a freak accident, fluke injury,
just kind of tripped on a stick.
Just caught an edge.
Yeah.
The momentum takes you in a bad spot. The silver lining is that it's the first week of July. So even 3 months from now, the season won't have started technically yet. So if it is something that requires a little bit of rehab or something, he's got some time in the offseason to figure out.
A month with the shoulder injury last year.
But he wasn't 100% coming back.
He was ready to play in 1 month. So preseason opener, by the way, for the record, is September 19th. Mm-hmm. 4 preseason games, 19th, 21st, 24th, and 26th. The first 2 against the Wild. The next 2 against the Blues.
4-game preseason.
Yeah, that's great. That's way better. So we'll see. Look, I don't want to draw any conclusions. I don't want to say that the silence is scary or encouraging or whatever, but to me, it just feels a little bit weird that you've got one of the highest profile athletes in Chicago suffers injury out of town, and it's just like, well, we'll just wait till we hear something. I don't know. I find that a little bit strange that there's not more of an update here. I would appreciate more of an update here. There's not much I can do. I'm not going to DM Connor or whatever it might be. But I would hope the team would give us some sort of information soon, because the longer this goes on, the more people panic and the more speculation runs wild. Well, and you might, even if it is bad, just say it's bad. Just say you know what? It's a separated shoulder, dislocated shoulder. He's going to miss 2 or 3 months of the summer. Okay, at least the information's out there instead of just wild speculation.
Right. Well, I mean, we're also in the middle of, waiting for his next contract situation to be finalized. And I feel like when you have, like you said before the show, you're like, if Caleb Williams in an off-season training, got busted up a shoulder or something, we'd know immediately.
We don't want to have.
We would know all the details and all that stuff.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that we necessarily have to, but it's just the player, the profile of the player, and knowing that he's in like this situation with his contract is kind of like having any details is or not having any details is rather surprising. And again, there's only so much digging you can really do. Team's only going to give you what they want. So if there's nothing that's out there, that's all you can really go with is just kind of speculation and wondering and hoping for the best. But yeah, I mean, again, like I'm hoping that it's nothing serious, because like the Blackhawks franchise, much of it hinges on him.
Yes.
And hinges on him being able to use both of his shoulders to fire, pucks
his generational shots,
and be able to,
his number one weapon. Yes.
Be able to, stick handle and all that stuff and be effective that way. So if he's compromised in any way, like that affects the team and it affects, all this money that we're talking about, talking about Bedard getting a big contract or worrying about, an offer sheet and all this stuff. Like you got to know like what the outlook of his health is. And not saying like, oh, he's injury prone, don't pay him money, but it's just like the timing of this injury situation is not great.
The injuries are becoming, I'm not going to say they're not concerning. I mean, you've got two of his injuries are, tissue, cartilage, dislocation. The broken jaw is a broken jaw. That's going to happen, right? Drink more milk, it'll be fine. Right? Like fine. But like when you see guys with like histories of soft tissue stuff, it becomes concerning. Like, is this something that he's going to be dealing with a lot? And as you mentioned, will it affect his ability to shoot the puck as effectively as he did when he came out in the draft, or stick handle, or take a hit, or whatever it might be? We don't know the answer to that, right? Only the team doctors know the answer to that. So speculating on it is dumb, but every time he gets hurt, there's another part of you that's like, another one? Another injury like this? Like the same exact thing?
Like he's about to be 21. So he's, his body will heal faster than you or I, but it's still like you don't want those things to stack up, because eventually if you do have, bumps and bruises here and there and all that stuff, like it does start to accumulate and affect guys. So I don't know. I'm hoping that, again, it's not anything serious. I'm hoping that we can, put this little blip of a, clutch your heart and worry about it kind of situation behind us, and we can just move forward with the off season and be like, okay, he's going to be fine. He's not going to miss, like I'm hoping he's going to be fine. He's not going to miss any time this season, and we just move on to figuring out what his contract is. Yeah,
let's move on to the next heart clutching thing. Will he get offer sheeted? If you missed this big news, the Philadelphia Flyers signed Leo Carlsson to a 5-year, $18 million offer sheet. Now, the important note about offer sheets, in case everyone doesn't know, is the player has to sign it. Teams can't just say, like, here's an offer sheet, now you're ours, unless the Ducks match. If someone came to Connor Bedard and said, we're going to give you 8 years, $20 million, Connor still has to agree to that.
Right.
So maybe he has been approached. We don't know, but the player has to actively say, okay, I will accept this contract offer. Now we'll bring it back to, in the case of Leo Carlsson, to the Ducks, and they've got 7 days. So the Ducks have to Friday to decide if they're going to pay Leo Carlsson 5 years, $18 million a year. That will make him the highest paid player in hockey.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. We always clamor for offer sheets, and then it's all fun and games until it happens to you, right? But I think you look at how the St. Louis Blues operated with their offer sheets with the Oilers a few years ago, or you look at how Carolina and Montreal kind of went back and forth with Kotkaniemi and everything, and it makes the offseason just adds a little bit of that spiciness to it, which is a lot of fun. But I think now seeing, how this offseason, how we got to this point with the offseason with, Robertson and Nyes and Bedard and so not yet, but then you got Bedard and Carlsson and Fantilli and all these guys that are RFAs and trying to figure out. And then you look at the UFA class and it's just like you look at the guys that are still unsigned. It's like there's still some talent there, and all these pieces still have to be figured out. And then boom, you get the offer sheet for Carlsson, and it's just like okay, well, by Friday we're gonna have one of these needle moving moments in the offseason where it could open up a floodgate of like, okay, Carlson's either going to Philly or Anaheim's matching. And if it doesn't get matched, then, Anaheim's got 4 first-round picks in compensation to now kind of figure out what they're going to do with them, because they're not going to make those picks. That you can use as much trade fodder, and you can try and...
You got to match.
You can try and figure out what you got without Leo Carlsson, because their cap situation is not great.
No. Well, let's get into the Bedard part of things before we get into the Leo. We'll circle back to the overall impact of this. Today on 32 Thoughts, Elliot Friedman did it's the final one of the season, where he goes through every team, 4-hour podcast. Listen at 1.5 speed if you like, as I do, and just gives updates on everybody. We've got a couple parts from it today, but I want to start here with him on a potential Connor Bedard offer sheet, this courtesy of the 32 Thoughts podcast.
I don't know that the Blackhawks have any reason to be concerned here. And I think generally player and team have an excellent relationship. I think he's very happy to be a member of that organization. I just personally wouldn't chance anything anymore. I would hide all of the pens in the Bedard house. I don't have any reason to believe that Bedard is chasing an offer sheet by anyone else, but I'd be looking at the way the landscape was changed, and I would be like, if I'm the Blackhawks, I'm all over it.
All right, that's Elliot Friedman today on 32 Thoughts, and I think an important qualifier from him, and he did it twice, saying, I don't think this is happening. I don't think there's a threat of it, but as he points out, this does really change the landscape of the NHL, because now if Leo Carlsson, well, either way, Leo Carlsson's going to make $18 million, whether it's with the Flyers or the Ducks.
Yeah. That's
already done. One way or another, he's making it. Now, in your mind, Mario, and I've been thinking about this too, does that mean Connor Bedard now sits down with Kyle Davidson and says, there's my number, 18, 5 by 18. That's what I want. I don't feel like that is... I don't feel like that is in Connor's personality to hold the team hostage. And I do think there's an important note with the Ducks. And Pat Verbeek is a special breed of pudwack sometimes with his players, where he is just a hard ass, a hard liner, very hard to negotiate, squeezes every nickel and dime out of you, takes you through the ringer in every negotiation. He's famous for that.
Yeah.
And I think part of this could be some of that coming back, like the chicken's coming home to roost for Pat Verbeek. I do think that is a small part of why this is happening in Anaheim. And the rumor was it wasn't going to be just Carlsson. Pavel Mintyukov was going to get an offer sheet too.
And then they got the deal done.
And they got it done. Yeah. Right. So I think that's part of it. I do think whatever you think of Kyle Davidson, from what Elliot Friedman said, and he has no horse in this race. He doesn't care if the Hawks are good or bad. It doesn't affect him at all. He continually says that the team and Bedard have a good relationship, but I don't think Connor's going to say, okay, I'm not signing for a penny under 18. If he does, fine. If that's the going right now, great. I love more than 5, but
right, yeah.
I don't necessarily think this means that now every young star is signing for 18 and nothing less.
I mean, it sets a precedent. I think that's one thing, and you now have the ability for players to say, okay, match me up against Leo Carlsson positionally. where I'm at in my career, production-wise, how I'm valued by the organization that I'm with. Like, it sets a precedent for, where a lot of these top-end players can go, especially young players. Carlsson was picked right after Bedard. And, you look at how they've matched up as far as production goes. Like, Bedard is...
I got it right here.
Had a little bit more. Yeah.
219 games for Bedard, 75 goals, 128 assists, 203 points. And Leo Carlsson, 201 games, 61 goals, 80 assists, 141 points. Now, it's important to note that Leo Carlsson in his rookie year, they kind of held him out sometimes. They played
load
him
management,
part-time.
basically.
Yeah. So that played a role. But Bedard has had the better career so far, unless you're looking at plus minus.
Which all good hockey analysts do, right?
They do. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like it. Like I said, like it kind of sets that precedent. But I think your point is correct, and the caveat of like navigating this from a Ducks perspective. I think it was speculated that the team was saying $12 million for Carlsson. He wanted 15, and you get a team like the Flyers to show up at your front door and say, we'll give you 18. I mean, it's hard to hold it against him that he signed it, and I think with Verbeek, as we've heard, how he's kind of grinded on these players, these young players in the contract negotiations. That's going to wear thin. Like we talk about coaches that coach that way, that only lasts for so long before you get. Some players can get sick of it. So I think if you're trying to pinch young guys like like Gauthier or Minchikov or Carlsson, like they might just come back and be like, I'm not dealing with dealing with you this way. If another option presents itself, I'm going to take it.
And they're seeing teammates hit free agency before them, and they're getting nickel and dimed, and they're getting abused, and they're getting talked about, and like, we don't think you're as good of a player as you do. And they see that coming for themselves, and they say, screw it, I don't want any part of that. Like, it's a new era of player empowerment, and it's going to be an adjustment around the NHL for fans, for media, for coaches, for GMs. We're going to hit the break zone back in 2 minutes with more.
Yeah, let's dig into more of the Bedard side of things.
Yeah, 100%. That's next on CHGO Blackhawks. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi, and what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That is the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, and that's a good name for it because that's exactly what it does. You'll have Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even know they exist. It's super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense, and that means you're streaming the game even when the whole family is online. All your devices working together in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And the best part, no annual contracts, no hidden fees, and you'll get Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from us. A lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won. Records are broken. Offer sheets grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. So lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more about the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions do apply.
What kind of dreams did you have when you were a kid? What did you want to be when you grew up? Did you want to score a extra time winner in the World Cup?
No.
Did you want to sign a gigantic offer sheet that screws over your team?
Yes.
What about now? Do you want to start your own business? Something equally as exciting?
Yes.
Well, if you do that, Shopify is what you need. Shopify is the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and is 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Shopify even powers the CHGO merch store. You can see Jay is wearing one of his original CHGO shirts. Shopify has got you covered from website creation, product descriptions, email and social media marketing, and much more. They also have AI tools designed to help you maximize sales. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity.
All right, we are back on CHGO Blackhawks. Let's continue with the offer sheet conversation. And a little important note, and we've got, and I really appreciate these accounts that are like the aggregators of all the talking heads saying stuff, like NHL Trade Alert and NHL Rumors and like
Rumor Report.
All they do is go through all these podcasts and find these little clips of guys saying stuff, and it is very handy because it's a ton to sort through. But this concept that the Hawks are approaching Connor Bedard and saying we're going to give you $10 million, there is no way in hell, after signing Bowen Byram at $12.5 million, that they're coming to Connor Bedard with an offer lower than that. There is a 0% chance.
You can't. That might have been where their offers would have started a couple of months ago.
Yes.
But as we've kind of learned, conversations didn't even start until May about an actual extension and dollars and cents and all that stuff. So there's, in what world could you go to Bedard and say, we'll give you 10?
And let's be
and
real.
Expect him to be like, oh, yeah, okay.
For
yeah,
a guy who just took crap
That's my Connor Bedard
from the
impression,
entire hockey unit, sounded just like him. For a guy who you people, gave crap to for the $12.5 million he gave Bowen Byram, you think Kyle Davidson is now going to lowball Connor Bedard?
Well,
like, it's just like use your
Byram's
logic.
the number one defenseman. You can't pay higher than him.
It's just like sift through the fog of your own hatred or dislike of Kyle Davidson and look clearly. There's no way in hell he's sitting down like, all right, Byram's in the bag. Connor, $10 million.
Well, yeah.
There's no way.
No way.
He's not that dumb.
No.
He's not dumb at all.
And I think and not that Bedard can go to arbitration, but the process of these negotiations is player sets a price, team sets a price, and eventually you find a middle ground, right? So even if, let's say, the Blackhawks did come to the table and say 10, and then Bedard comes to the table and says, well, Carlsson got 18. If we land at 14, is that okay? I'd be completely fine giving Connor Bedard $14 million over the next 7-8 years, whatever it is. I think that's fair value, and I think if as you said, Leo Carlsson is getting $18 million, whether it's from the Ducks or the Flyers, and if you had told me, well, Bedard's going to get 14, I'd say, well, great, that's good value for the fact that a contract like Carlson's is out on the market now.
Well, yeah, and look, the longer the term goes, too, the more easy it is to swallow, right? So if it's a 4-year, $18 million deal or whatever, like that, that's tough because then you got to revisit it again, and then it's going to be 22, 23 million, and then you're starting to get astronomical. What we know about Connor Bedard, and again, all you people who think he wants to leave and is running out the door because he wants to play for a winner, he's also not going to hold the team hostage and take every last penny if that's truly the case. If he's looking to get rich and cash out, then he's probably looking for the biggest offer sheet he can get and signing it and seeing what happens.
Right.
But it feels to me like Connor Bedard is more interested in winning. So I'll make a prediction here. I think at the end of the day, we're looking at I don't think it's going to go full 8. I think he'll try to get that bridge deal, but I'm thinking it's going to be a $15 million AAV. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be 15. And this is a number, by the way, before the Daniel Briere pipe bomb promo. That was kind of the number we were hearing anyway, was like between 14 and 15. And we were all kind of like, okay, like I guess like if it's a longer term, it's great. But I think that's what it's going to be. I would guess around 15.
I'm sorry. I was listening. What was the term and money you said?
I say it's going to be the bridge deal. So what gets him to UFA? Is it 4? I think it's going to be 4 by 18 or 4 by 15.
4 by 15. Okay. I mean,
and he can spin it as saying like, well, I'm taking less money.
Sure.
Carlsson.
Sure. Technically. Yeah. I feel like, that that process of him getting to free agency over 4 years, I could definitely see that happening. I think though, where the organization is at with Bedard is, I mean, they've propped him up as like, he's the guy.
If he'll sign it, do it.
He's the guy. He's almost 100% certainly going to be the captain of this team, even as soon as he signs his contract, potentially. So he's going to be that guy. So I do wonder if maybe that is a consideration in his mind from his side of things, where he doesn't say, well, I'm just going to give you 4 years and then I'm going to have the opportunity to walk at 25 years old into free agency. Maybe he gives them 5 or 6, just to give a little bit more of that of that extension.
That'd be great.
I think that would be a nice middle ground between team and organization. Obviously, the Blackhawks, up until whatever it is, September 15th, probably want him at 8 years.
Would you give him 8 by 18?
For 8 years, yeah, I think I would, because I think you obviously as the cap goes up, the percentage of cap that $18 million takes goes down year over year, and I think you're betting that he's going to be a guy that makes that kind of impact, not only for your team but in the NHL, and is worthy of that money. Is it an overpayment in years 1 and 2? Probably, but as time goes on and as he hits 22, 23, 24 years old in that deal, you're thinking not only is that window of contention, but that's like when we're going to fully realize what Connor Bedard can be. And I'd imagine if you bet that he's an $18 million player, he'll hit that. So, yeah, I mean, if it was max length at $18 million, great. I got a feeling it'll be like 6 by like 17, and I think that number is still going to be high. And the Blackhawks, they have to pay him. Like,
yeah, they have no choice.
Like Elliot Friedman said on the podcast the clip that we just played, and it's kind of just been the notion that I've had in my head since the Carlsson offer sheet came down. It was just like, do not let another team tell you what you're going to have to pay a player.
Exactly.
Like, pay your own players and deal with
your
it.
Stuff underway.
Deal with your own stuff in-house, and don't leave it up to chance. And the fact that we've gotten this far without a Bedard extension is kind of like every minute that passes, it feels like we're playing. Davidson might be playing with fire.
Carlson's the first one because of the offer sheet. Who knows when that would have gotten done?
There was another offer sheet that was
Barrett Hayton.
Yeah,
but
not as notable. But
Fantilli hasn't signed yet.
No.
So it's not like they're all rolling in aside from Bedard, right? Like, I could see if all these other guys were signed and he wasn't, that the freak out would begin, and we would probably lead the freak out, honestly. But it's just kind of the pace of things. But Elliot's right. Like, if there's one thing to take away from this, whether, $18 million from the Carlsson offer sheet sets the new market for young players, at least what it's going to do is change the way teams approach their RFAs. Because you can't let it get to the point now where guys can sign offer sheets. And I think you're going to see teams recognizing that, look, you got a guy like Bedard or Carlsson or Fantilli in your organization. Don't F around and get it done. Yeah. Don't be like, we're going to let him take his time this summer. We'll talk. We're in a good place. Nope. Because it takes one GM.
You can't be too nonchalant.
It takes one GM to say, you know what?
Takes Danny Briere.
I'm going to screw these guys. Why wouldn't they? Like, why, if you were the St. Louis Blues GM, Jim Rutherford, why wouldn't you offer sheet Connor Bedard?
Steen, no.
Oh, Alex Steen, thank you. Why wouldn't you offer sheet him right now at 20 by 8?
Right. Screw it,
either
right?
You get Connor Bedard or the Hawks have to pay it.
You either get you either get Bedard or you get the 4 picks. Right? So, you either get Bedard or you don't,
or you get nothing, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't, or you screw a rival.
You have a 50% chance at getting Bedard. Like, I think you would roll that dice.
Yes.
I don't know. I think as we've kind of seen with this kind of changing landscape of how players kind of control their own, are now controlling more of their own career and the directions that they want to go and stuff. And we're seeing, teams get a little bit more lenient with the offer sheets and a little bit more creative with it after seeing how the Blues, as you mentioned, did it with the Oilers, and how that did benefit their organization moving forward, even slightly. It put the Oilers in a bind. You can't say that the Oilers wouldn't have liked to have had Broberg and Holloway the last few seasons that they didn't. I think you're just going to see a little bit more of teams getting aggressive and creative because they need to, because they know it's going to become a little bit more cutthroat with players either wanting out or dictating where they want to go. And GMs are probably going to be recognizing that if you want to be competitive, you need to make sure you keep your players around, keep them happy, and you need to operate as we were talking with the Blackhawks and free agency and all that leading up to the draft and the actual opening of free agency. Is it's like the teams that all these elite players want to keep going to are the teams that not only win but also operate as contenders and operate as like we're trying to win no matter what. There's a song like that. Yeah. So I think you have to operate that way to make Chicago not only, because you can only saying to like a projected free agent is like, hey, look at all these young players you could play with.
Care.
They don't care. They want to win.
Well, Elliot made the point today with Buffalo, saying like a year ago at this time, no, Connor Hellebuck would not have considered Buffalo. No shot. Vincent Trocheck would not have considered Buffalo. This year, they turn a corner, they get in the playoffs, they look good. All of a sudden, they become a destination.
Yeah.
Most players in the league don't want to hear about young players. They don't. And we all point to, Brian Campbell coming here and the next year Marian Hossa coming here. They were a little more established with their young players.
Well, yeah, that was after the rookie years of Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, where they were like immediately like, oh, these guys are good.
Yeah, this is next.
This team is coming up. So maybe that's this year. Maybe this year is the arrival of Nazar and Kanserov and Frondell and Moore and Levshinov and all these guys show like, hey, they're NHL players. They're really good. And Chicago now moving forward but we got to operate in the here and now. And the here and now, Connor Bedard still needs a contract.
All right, Steven, just for production purposes, I'm going to go a little long on this segment so we can do the lottery spins, and I want to play the other Elliot Friedman things. So let's do this. Our buddy Jay Fresh.
Our buddy and yours.
Everyone's buddy. Created this.
Noted lover of the Bowen Byram deal.
Him among others. The offer sheet lottery. So he created this on his website, and we're going to play along at home to see if you were to walk away from Connor Bedard, it gives you 4 spins at the wheel, or a spin at the wheel, and you can set your parameters, and it shows you 4 random first-round picks that fall into that category. Yeah. And I spun it probably 30 times before I got a deal where I'd be like, you know what, I would take that over Connor Bedard.
And even then, it's not a slam dunk. This is a fun little exercise. I think too, looking at some of the teams that are capable of offer sheeting Connor Bedard, those first round picks aren't going to be lottery picks. And if a team is getting Connor Bedard, if you don't match and you take the picks, that team's going to get better.
Yes.
So I think for this exercise, I would, Steven, if I were you, I would click the after the top 10 tab. So these are just former first round picks from the last, 20 years or something like that.
Yeah, and you could change that Leo Carlsson down there to Connor Bedard, actually. Right there in the bottom.
Oh, took the
pick.
Go
to change player.
Take picks. Oh.
Connor Bedard.
Oh, he's the next guy right there.
All right.
What is this? Take pick.
So now we can spin the wheel.
Okay.
And see the 4 players we get. Tyler Pitlick, Stuart Percy, Cody Ceci, and Shea Theodore.
Oh, my God.
There is a bottom, after the top 10 randomizer of first-round picks.
Yeah, no, you don't take those picks, obviously.
No. Want to do another one?
Sure, why not?
All right, let's spin it again. Let's see if we find one we like.
There's no limit on spins.
Max Domi, Connor
Bleakley. Just
Noah
how
Juleson,
this is going.
Sam Steele.
No,
I'm going to say no to that one.
You don't take those picks.
Yes.
You keep Connor Bedard.
And remember, you're getting the length of the career of these guys, but still, no.
No.
Let's do
two
more.
How about, two more. 2 more for funds.
All right. Mikko Koskinen, Mark Pisick, I can never say that guy's name, Vladimir Nemestikov, and Jordan Schmaltz.
Nope.
Jay Swishy himself.
No.
All
right, one more. Let's see. Is it worth it?
Andre Burakovsky, Robbie Fabry, Jacob Zobril, and Tyler Benson.
No.
Well, that
was fun.
I'm trying Hawk Harrelson.
Connor Bedard is worth more than all 20 of those players, 16 of those players combined. You still take Connor Bedard over it. And I think, too, like let's say the Ducks don't match. They're not using those picks as draft picks. They're going to use them as straight pieces. But even still.
Sure.
Do any of those trade? You'd have to get really creative to land a piece that's going to help you, like Leo Carlsson probably will, over the life of that contract, the next 5 years, in any kind of trade. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
All right. A couple more things from Elliot Friedman here. He talks about the Bowen Byram trade. Thought there's more to it than this. He says, like, I've heard back from a couple GMs that said it really wasn't that big of a deal. So go find that. But this is just a little interesting piece on the Derby to acquire Bowen Byram.
Yeah, a couple of things about Chicago. Number one, about Byram, 6 times 12.5. And right now he's the highest paid defenseman in the league, and that will change pretty quickly, I think. But someone told me, and this is another team told me, that he heard there was a 4x14 out there for Byram. And I assume that was the Sharks, but I don't know that. But he said to me that the word out there was that Byram was getting paid. And the biggest battle was going to be term.
So there you go. He, instead of taking 4x14, trade had to go down, of course. Byram signed for 6x12.5. So he wanted the term commitment more than the money commitment.
Yeah.
What's up, Connor Bedard's the same.
Yeah, and I mean, as Elliot kind of speculates, he says, I believe that would have been the Sharks deal. Well, I mean, that might have been a reason why
you had to throw in Crevier.
You had to throw in an actual NHL player rather than Magic Bean's prospect to get a deal done like that. So yeah, I mean, if Byram was made the highest paid defenseman by an extra $1.5 million, again, good for him. Make all the money that you can. That's what you should do as a pro athlete. But I wonder what the reaction would have been like if it came down that was the deal that he got rather than the 6x12.5 in Chicago.
All right, and then one more small little piece here from 32 Thoughts. And again, we always thank them for use of the audio. Thanks to Dom Stramati, their producer, for giving us permission to use this stuff on the search for a forward.
Now, the one thing I really believe is that they are looking for forwards. And they've tried before, and they'll continue trying. And even if it doesn't happen this summer, into next season, if Chicago finds out that any forward is available that they think they can make a difference, they will be on it. And someone made that point to me today that even if they don't get it done this summer, watch it during the year. Chicago will be hunting for forwards.
All right, that's the news you want to hear. And I like that he started with the one thing I really believe. Elliot's a guy that does measure his words pretty well. And if he does misspeak, he'll usually go and correct himself. My only thing is like, okay, I believe you, and I believe that's true. However, when you see Maverick Bourque getting traded for Beans in division, and you're seeing other guys around the league getting moved pretty easily, you're kind of like, well, why not him? Why not him? Why not this guy? Why not that guy? And I think this is an exercise we're going to do later in the week, is kind of go through some of the names we've wanted over the years and see if they've worked out elsewhere. But it's not like no forwards are moving. That's the only thing. And so my question is, yeah, sure, he always says Kyle Davidson always says he's looking for a forward, but does he believe he's better than the players better than Kancherov and Frondell and Nazar? And I do believe we do have a little bit of an overrating situation happening right now with those guys from Davidson.
Yeah, when I heard that, I kind of rolled my eyes because of that notion of like, okay, well, look at all these players that have been moved, not just this offseason, but in previous off seasons. Look at players that have been available. Look at, all the rumors that there have been about, Blackhawks are in on such and such and such and such, go down the line. Mm-hmm. And as we've kind of said, like throughout the summers, it's just like, okay, well, when are we going to get across the finish line with one of these things?
Right.
Like, when are we going to get the trade or the free agent signing that actually happens as far as the forward groups go? And the fact that it's this like impact forward or a difference maker forward, yes, I that's a big part of it.
It's a big caveat.
Because as we were kind of having this conversation before the show, it's just like, I wouldn't throw the times that we were like, oh, Connor Garland would be great. We're not saying get Connor Garland to be a top line player. He'd be a great addition to the forwards group to kind of inject something that the team doesn't have from the middle of the lineup. But when you're talking about Nyes and Robertson and Gensel a number of years ago, and Peterka and Marner and all these guys that have been in the rumor mills over the last few summers, at some point you can say like, yeah, they're hunting. And it's just like, well, at some point the hunter is going to starve. Like, you have to be able to get across the finish line and get the player that you're looking for. And I mean, in more words than I should have, asked Kyle Davidson at the.
You got to forgive yourself for that. It was a fine question.
I asked terrible questions.
You keep bringing it up. It's okay. It was fine.
But I just kind of
far from your worst.
I asked them. Yeah, I've asked worse. I asked them, like looking around at deals that have been made or contracts or players free agents that have been signed, like knowing the money that you have to work with and the assets you have to work with. Like, do you look at those deals and think that you could have done better or at least had that come to fruition? And his answer was just like, well, sometimes you think you have a good deal and then it doesn't work out. And okay, sure. Sometimes the adage like it takes two to tango is true. Like
I made that up by the way.
Yeah, that's very creative of you.
Yep.
The team has to like the offer that they're getting, and as we're kind of seeing now, like more often we're running into players have to say like, well, I don't want to go there if they have protection or not. And then if you trade for a disgruntled player. I mean, we saw what happened with Mikko Rantanen going to Carolina. He's just like, I don't really like being here.
I don't want.
I want to go. I want to go somewhere else.
Cup sounds terrible.
Well, yeah, hindsight, but I think you're running. You can run into that, and that ties back to the Blackhawks needing to start operating as a place where players want to go and feel like they can get a chance to win. So. Yeah, I just think like it sounds nice that they're out there and they're looking for a difference maker forward and they're trying. It's just like
I just think that
I'd like for it to actually come to fruition.
I feel like his definition of difference maker might be a little higher than mine, and that's fine. We'll see. Big like forwards that move that are in my mind impact players. I think AJ Greer makes an impact. Now you got Cole Smith, which is a similar kind of player. I know it's not a sexy name, but that's a bottom six guy.
That's not the guy I'm thinking about.
Right. Maverick Bourque, we mentioned. Nick Robertson, not a difference maker in most people's eyes.
No.
Vincent Trocheck, old. I don't know if you want him. Keegan Colasar. Blake Coleman was a name that we had talked about.
Yeah.
So, in terms of like the Nyses and the Robertsons and the guys that everyone agrees are difference makers, they have not moved yet. So if Nyes gets traded or Robertson ultimately gets traded, then we've got some judging to do on, okay, you can no longer deny that this guy was a difference maker. Why couldn't you beat this deal?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me is Maverick Bourque because he fits the he's like Byram, fits the timeline.
Right.
You'd put him into the top six, and seeing what it took to trade for him, and then the extension he signed, which again in division. Mm-hmm. Seems doable from a Blackhawks standpoint, but
he had 41 points, 20 goals, 21 assists last year. Only played 15-29 of ice time. Not a ton of power play
he's on the
time.
Stars.
Yeah,
like,
right, exactly.
He's probably buried on the lineup a little bit.
Yeah, like that was a guy who I feel like they could have made a move to get, but I would imagine Kyle Davidson looks at Maverick Bourque and says, we have Maverick Bourque right here and Roman Kanserov, and we believe Roman Kanserov will be a better player than Maverick Bourque. Here's the deal. If he's right about Kanserov, honestly, guys,
I want him
Kanserov
to be,
is like a Calder nominee.
I want him to.
If he's
right.
a Calder finalist, which would be like what 50 points or so. What did Demidov have last year in points?
60.
Let's see. Demidov had
because Schaefer won
62 points.
Yeah.
So if he's in the 50 to 60 point range and in the Calder conversation, okay. Then that was a safe bet to make. But if Roman Kanserov comes over from Russia to North America the first time, learning the language and isn't producing at that level, and you counted on it to be your line mate for Bedard day one, that was a miscalculation.
Well, I mean,
we got a break. We got to hit the break in time.
We've pushed it.
All right, we've talked about this a lot. We've got some mailbag questions we want
have
to
a
get
whole
to too. So we're going
whole
to
summer to figure this out.
Yes. Yeah. All right, back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. Our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your baseball season. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping with a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, easy online ordering and in-store pickup, and wherever you are in Illinois, there's a Sunnyside by you, as far south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit, which is confusing but true. Stop in the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff, and they will point you in the direction of the Good News Tea Time Vape because it's awesome, lemonade flavored, great on the golf course, great on a walk, wherever you are, you're going to love it. And take advantage of Sunnyside's Stash Pass, their summer rewards program that lets you earn rewards simply by visiting and making qualifying purchases Every visit earns a stamp, bringing you closer to your next reward. That's live now through September while supplies last. So go take advantage. Head to their website for only the best under the sun, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases with our code HICHGO. Sunnyside Dispensary, only the best under the sun, only for 21 plus or Illinois MedCard holders.
This World Cup has been electric.
Lit.
If you haven't been watching it, what are you doing with your life? Well, if you want to go see it in person, you can do it with our friends at Game Time. Game Time and the app is such a lifesaver. It gives you the advantage back to the fans with tickets for all of the matchups that you care about, including the one that the U.S. is going to get to, corruption or no corruption, the final at that's going to be happening in New York, July 19th. If you want to go there, download the Game Time app and make sure you get the best price for that game. Fees are always included, so you know what you're going to pay up front. There's no surprises at checkout. And if you've never been to that stadium, you can check out the view from your seat. With Game Time, you can see exactly what it's going to look like from where you're sitting. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHGO. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today.
All right, we're back on CHGO Blackhawks. Mario with breaking news.
Sorry. If you missed it, 15 players submitted for arbitration yesterday. No Blackhawks. The only one that could do it was Drew Commesso. But one of them is a former Blackhawk who did it with the Montreal Canadiens, Kirby Dach. Eric Engels, who covers the Montreal Canadiens for Sportsnet, says the reason that Dach filed for arbitration, he was given a 2-way qualifying offer by the Canadiens because he played less than 60 games last season and less than 180 games over the last 3 combined. Generally, NHLers get 1-way qualifying offers. So
yikes.
I just saw that as we were coming back from break, and I was like, he got a 2-way qualifying offer? Talk about a slap in the face, but I guess based off of the games played metric, I guess that makes sense. But then that makes sense for him to be like, a 2-way qualifying offer doesn't sound like a lot of money.
I'm good.
And I made a couple million last year, so let's figure this out.
You know, not to joke at his expense, he's a super good kid, and I hope it works out for him. But man, it's been such a weird path for him. Like, it's just it feels like every time he kind of like swings back to the positive, like there's an injury setback, and it's got to suck for him. All right, let's get to the mailbag
he
here.
He made $4 million last year.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
It sucks that much, but
but before we do, we want to encourage you to subscribe. We have like 500 people watching a show in July, which we really, really appreciate. But only 149 of you hit the like button. I would assume even fewer of you hit subscribe. We are 251 subscribers away from 110,000. So we would really like you to get us over that. It's probably not going to happen today, but we have a knack, and Steven can attest for this. When a milestone needs to be reached, CHGO Blackhawks is usually the catalyst for that milestone.
I believe I was on a show with you guys for both 50 and 75.
Just saying.
110 isn't within reach.
Yes.
It's in reach.
So hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate that big time.
The more people that subscribe, the more the CHGO sports content, not only us, but across the board, but especially us, since you're watching us right now, the more it can get exposure on YouTube and across all the algorithms and all that. And the more the things that you like about what we do here at CHGO, the more that it can grow and the more we can keep doing all this awesome stuff. So yeah, if you're subscribed already, make a burner account and subscribe again. And if you're not subscribed, but you're here very often,
many of you know how to do that.
Just just hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate it, and especially if you're a fan of multiple teams in Chicago. Where else are you going to get as detailed and stellar conversation about those teams than here at CHGO Sports, right?
That's right.
Wink.
Wink. Wink. All right, let's get to the mailbag.
And become a diehard so that you can be part of the mailbag.
Yes. Yes. All right, M. Heilman, he of the mayonnaise fortune, says, what would a realistic trade package for Kirill Marchenko look like? Personally, I'd be willing to offer 2 first-round picks, the better of Edmonton's or Florida's, plus our own top 5 protected, along with Kevin Korchinski and or Oliver Moore. Would that be enough to get a deal done, or would it take even more?
It's going to take more than that.
So 2 firsts, including your own top 5 protected. Put it back on the screen so I can see it one more time, Steven. Sorry.
Either Edmonton or Florida's first,
two.
Your own, and Korchinski and or Oliver Moore. I think that's
Korchinski and Moore could get it done.
I think that's where you lose Columbus, because I think you're talking about, one, they went through the situation with Werenski. Obviously, whether it was true or not that he wanted out, you got a guy that you're going to need to show like, hey, we're trying to be competitive. And if you're losing Marchenko, that doesn't help you. And Kevin Korchinski and Oliver Moore, bless their souls, that doesn't make you immediately competitive. And I think the Blue Jackets, if they're trying to do that, they're trying to make a deal where you're going to get guys that are immediately competitive. Now, from a Blackhawks standpoint, there's not too many guys like that you could probably offer them, short of Connor Bedard, that they would like. So I think if you're trying to say like, oh, well, look at all these future pieces, like, yeah, if you did those 2 picks and Korchinski and Moore, it probably could entice Columbus, but I don't think it's enough. So I think you'd have to go higher.
Korchinski and or Moore, it was Frank Nazar.
I think you're getting closer. It might be Nazar.
I think I would do that.
Yeah.
Because I think what it does is it solves your problem. And if you are sold that Anton Frondell is a center, which they seem to be, based on, I don't know.
Well, it definitely helps the Blackhawks. I'm thinking from the Blue Jackets, though.
Sure. Oh,
you're losing Marchenko.
But I think they feel like Marchenko might be leaving anyway. So
yeah.
But they should also have 31 other teams trying to get Kirill Marchenko, you would think. So, and by the way, this is all with the assumption that like an extension comes when it's time.
Right.
You know. All right, let's get another one in here. This from Left Ear. Any thoughts on the Hawks pursuing a Shane Wright trade? Could be a buy lowish and a chance to evolve into a top 6 wing or center. Not the proven guy for Connor Bedard, but another guy that could develop into it. Shane Wright is really interesting, man.
I don't hate the idea.
Last year, 27 points in 74 games.
Yeah, a drop down after he kind of figured it out.
A game. That's it. 13.48 a game.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the enticing idea of, you know, obviously a guy that's talented, was thought to be a top overall prospect in his draft year, ended up going 4th. Young, I guess, you know, you say fits the timeline of the rebuild, is a guy that you could play up front in the middle 6, see what he could turn into. I would have to see. I kind of thought like, okay, I'm trying to think who else was kind of in a similar situation that got moved, and I don't. Again, this was about 10 years ago, but when Jonathan Duran got traded, it was a conditional. I'm trying to remember the deal. It was a conditional 6th round pick and Duran for Sergachev and a 2nd round pick, and I don't think Shane Wright is exactly there, but it probably would. If Seattle's given him up, they're going to want something of value back.
And Duran's interesting because started in Tampa, had 53 points, then went to Montreal, and then 46, 53, then 15, 23, 20, a lot of injuries.
I don't know if it's an exact one-for-one of like where Shane Wright's, but I was just kind of thinking top picked guy, doesn't pan out, where does he go?
I will say, though, in fairness, though, like it feels like he was drafted forever ago. His first 2 years, he played 8 games total both years.
Shane Wright?
Well,
because they screwed around with him.
Yeah, his first full year was 24-25.
Let's put him in the AHL, and actually, no, let's send him back to junior.
Yeah, so his first full year, 44 points in 79 games. Then last year drops down 27 points in 74 games. I just feel like if you take the pedigree away and the where he was supposed to be drafted away and where he was drafted away, is he interesting? Is he a guy you think really moves the needle? And I don't think so. Like
EB's got an interesting.
Okay.
Wright for Kurchinski straight up.
Sure.
I would do. I would do that.
Yeah, I would do
two
that in a
guys that are
heartbeat.
in a very similar spot.
Sure.
I think I would do that.
Yeah, I don't know why Seattle would do that.
No,
I feel like Korchinski has like no value at all. But if Seattle would do that,
I think
absolutely.
I think Seattle. If you're saying that you're taking a guy out of their everyday lineup, as he was, even though he wasn't playing top minutes necessarily, they want someone that they know is gonna be in their everyday lineup.
Yeah, again, it would depend on what Seattle's asking for. I'm not just like closing the door on Shane Wright, but I don't know if he solves
Shane
your
Wright,
Bedard line mate problem.
Shane Wright for.
Would you give him
Ryan Green?
Would you give him one of those? One of those firsts? Like the
Not
worst
really.
of the two Florida Edmonton picks?
I want those first round picks to be used for something bigger than Shane Wright.
But we just did the wheel spin, and beyond the top 5, it's a crapshoot.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not saying going for a crapshoot. I'm saying if I'm using one of those first round picks, I want it to be as we were just talking about earlier about big game hunting for forwards. I'm not.
You just want to save those bullets.
Shane Wright is not a big game player.
Sure. So you're just saving those.
I would save that for
package.
something that's going to be that would be something bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
That's what I would say. But I mean, if the price is not crazy, if it's of equal value for both teams going back and forth, I don't hate the idea of trying Shane Wright here. But again,
yeah, I'm not going to give up a bundle to get
yeah,
him.
It's not high on the priority list for me.
All right, here we got a long one here, and this is from
Johnny Diane Bree Collectors.
Oh yeah, sorry, the name's cut off on top. Says, for maybe the first time since this rebuild began, I'm actually questioning what Kyle Davidson's doing. I don't question the moves that he has made, Byram, the Coles, etc.
The Coles.
All good additions that legitimately make the club better. It's more about the moves he hasn't made. The Maverick Bork trade was the one that got my eyebrows raised. I don't see how you can be talking to every GM, or however Kyle Davidson worded it, and then a deal like that slips by between two division rivals. Mm-hmm. You could have most certainly offered a better package, as far as I know. Bork wasn't dictating his destination like some other players have done, and being in the same division clearly didn't prevent this deal from happening. I can't really talk myself into looking past this kind of miss. At this point, does this sort of whiff have you concerned about Kyle Davidson's ability to actually get this rebuild to the next step? It's definitely a chink in the armor, as far as I'm concerned. Look, the Maverick Bork thing, I think all of us saw that and we're like, oh, okay, guess don't need that guy.
It's just annoying he went to the Preds.
Right.
Like if Bork went to the Islanders or something, I would have been like,
trading in division.
I'd have been like, all right, well, yeah, not in division.
Or like you're talking about, like you're dealing him to a team that's got like a true cup aspiration.
Right.
That's not the case with Nashville. It's not a marquee city. It's not a.
That's a great city.
Sure, but I don't think it's a player city that NHL players are just dying to get to.
Ask Ryan O'Reilly.
Sure. Maybe he can marry a country star or something like that.
Didn't he? I don't know. Anyways.
I think you're thinking of Mike Fisher.
Oh, other Nashville Predator.
Yes.
Great. Yeah.
Let's get some super chats in here before we hit the hour mark here. Windy City Hockey, $5 says, since Bedard is unsigned, are the Hawks able to give an update on Connor's injury, or do they have to resign him to announce any update?
Well, they have his RFA rights still through the qualifying. Yes, they are the team that would report on him.
Right. Good question. Keith says, I just became a diehard on the 4th.
Nice.
Nothing like talking hockey during peak summer. Thank you, Keith. And Weschke, for €5 says, why are you so high on Maverick Bork? Small guy who scored 20 goals and 40 points. We should have that already in Lardis, Moore, and heck, maybe even Green. Maybe. But he's 22. Right? 23?
Bork is 24.
Okay.
24.
I also think with more opportunity, the numbers would go up.
Yeah.
I will take the over on 40 points from Maverick Bork in Nashville.
I think I would too.
And on 15.29 a night.
Yeah, and I would guess if he was here, it'd be the minutes would and the assignments would be higher.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean that's why. Also paired with what was the package to get him, like a second and a third, something like that. Like that's why missing on a player like that feels like, ooh, that kind of stinks, because obviously Dallas, they wanted to figure out what they were going to do with Robertson before they got Bork done. But I think if they knew for certain Robertson wasn't going to be an option, that they would have done kind of like Anaheim did, where they're like, well, let's get Mentnikov done. We'll see what happens with Carlsson. They would have been like, well, let's get Bork done and see what happens with Robertson. So they wanted to still have some room for him, but I think when it got down to Robertson, they were like, we either need this money for him, or we got to move on. So
it was Bork and Lyubushkin to Dallas for a 2027 second and Vegas's 2028 third. Yes,
we have news.
Okay, what do we got?
Drew Commesso has signed a 2-year, 2-way contract with the Chicago Blackhawks.
All right.
$875,000 cap hit.
An interesting note here from Puckpedia. The second year is a one-way deal. So they're saying you might back up Arvid Soderblom this year while he's in the last year of his deal, and then in year 2 of your deal, you are our backup. That's what this contract says. Mm-hmm. Year 1 is 2-way, $850K NHL, $200K minors, $250K guaranteed. Year 2, $900K one-way deal. So that is we are in overtime, by the way, so switch on over to ALLCITY.com. So that is an acknowledgement that Drew Commesso, your time in the NHL is coming, and we're going to prove it to you by making the second year a one-way deal. And I hope that he gets every opportunity to take that job from Arvid Soderblom this year. Because I am another bold prediction by me. He is as good as Arvid Soderblom.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take that bet.
Yeah.
Make that bold statement.
We've had that conversation before recently. Can he give you better than or equal to 880 of a save percentage? Yeah, I think so. So
I hope so.
I'd hope so. So yeah, I mean, this is a 2-year deal. Great. The one way on the year 2 of it. Great. I mean, Soderblom's UFA after this year, I believe, or I don't know if he's UFA or RFA, but he's a free agent after this year.
Not gonna work here anymore anyway.
So
he is a UFA after this year.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, I mean you have a backup option beyond this season. So that's a good spot to be set up in. It's a good deal for Drew. Good. That's a bit of business done.
Yeah.
It's not Bedard, but at least you knock one of those side quests off your checklist. And good. I mean, and I know we're not worried about money as far as the cap and everything, but if you could say that you could get equal to or better value than Arvid Soderblom at a fraction of the price, that helps if you're pinching for dollars down the road.
I want to get one more mailbag in here before we go, just to thank the people. Let's do one more. This one from Taryn B9. Did you also pucker up when you read the Flyers have done a $5 by $18 million offer sheet for? Yes, I did. Yes, I have to say my heart skipped a beat there when I read that news. Did not feel great, but then I was very relieved to see it as not Connor Bedard. So not as relieved as I'll be when I get this injury update and this deal done.
Yeah, that I got the notification. It was, about the offer sheet, and I was just like, I need to make sure I read every word of this to make sure that it's Leo Carlsson and not Bedard. And I mean it's pretty crazy. The landscape that this could set forth in the NHL. So,
all right, we're gonna wrap things up. A couple of people, by the way, asked where Greg is. So Greg, his full-time employment begins like at the beginning of the season. He'll be with us every Tuesday and Thursday, including tomorrow and this Thursday. This Thursday, by the way, Brendan Perlini is going to hang out with us. He's been doing a wrestling show with Greg and Big Dave, and he's got some Hawks thoughts too, so we're going to have him on. But Greg will be every Tuesday and Thursday, and then, of course, any kind of like big event, draft, free agency, whatever it might be, Greg will be there for those. But it's a matter of time before it's every show. And no, we do not have an injury update on Connor Bedard yet. We thought we might by now, but we do not yet. If it happens and it's huge and noteworthy, we will find you with an emergency pod. That will definitely happen. So keep it here. Turn those notifications on, and you do that by subscribing. Make sure you do that, or Steven will fight you. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3 on CHGO Blackhawks.
We all silly like the mayor.